Hello friends, and welcome to a little bit of an extra video on some organic functional groups. I have noticed that on many of our quizzes we are struggling with those questions that have condensed formulae in them. So today is all about condensed formulae. Our one and only objective is to draw some full structural formulae from those given condensed formulae. First, let's review what even are these different kinds of formulae. Remember that the full structural or displayed formula, this is my favorite, shows the arrangement, all the bonds of all the atoms in a molecule. Molecular, we're just going to count. We've got 2 carbons and 4 hydrogens and 2 oxygens in this particular molecule. Empirical, we're going to reduce that down, divide all of our subscripts by the greatest common factor, which in this case is 2. Our empirical formula, therefore, would be C1H2O1. We could also ignore the ones. We do love an invisible one. Skeletal formula, we are not going to draw C's and H's. We are, well, unless they're attached to an O. But we're not going to draw the H's that are on the C's. So here's carbon number 1, here's carbon number 2. Here's carbon number 1, here's the bond to carbon number 2. We are not drawing any of the C's or H's that are on the carbons. We are going to show that there is a double bonded oxygen and a hydroxyl group, which combined, of course, makes a carboxyl group on that carbon number 1. Condensed structural formula, what we do is look similar to molecular, but we're going to sort those atoms out to kind of follow along with how they look in the molecule. So I'm going to start by looking at this methyl group, and I'm going to draw this as a CH3. So there is a carbon and 3 hydrogens. And then I'm going to look at this next piece, which is my carboxyl group, COOH. And so we just kind of follow along with the full structural formula, but we write it in like a thing that would work on a lined piece of paper. The rest of this video is literally just taking these condensed formulae and drawing the associated structural formulae. So my recommendation would actually be pause the video, do these problems yourself, restart the video to check your work, and then do the next chunk of examples. Here are some full structural formulae for these examples. So we're always going to just kind of go, I don't know, from left to right. So CH3, of course, is going to look like a C and 3 H's. And then I've got a CH2, which is going to look like a C and 2 H's. And then we're going to wrap up with a CH3. So just kind of follow along. Again, from left to right, I think, is the easiest because that's how we learn how to read. And then here we have propane. Let's do this one. Similar, but a little bit extra. So again, we're going to start with that CH3. We've got our CH3. Put some bonds in there, and then this is kind of fun. So this 3 on the outside of the parentheses is telling us that we have 3 of this whole chunk. So I'm going to do CH2 3 times. So here's CH2 number 1. Here's CH2 number 2. Here's CH2 number 3. So here are our 3, 1, 2, 3 CH2s. I'm going to wrap up with yet another CH3, put all those bonds in there. Voila, we have a CH3 here, we have a CH3 here, and then we have 3 CH2s, 1, 2, 3. In between, what molecule is this one? This, of course, is pentane. Getting a little bit trickier here, we're going to add some branches. So looking at this guy, of course, we're going to start with a CH3. Here we go with CH3. And then I have a C and an H. So here's my C and H. And then this is saying that it's a branch on that C. So I'm going to put a methyl group on that carbon, and then we're going to wrap up with CH3. So again, what's in these parentheses here is stuck to this carbon. This is the methyl group that's right here on that one carbon right there. What are we going to call this guy? We've got 1, 2, 3 carbons in our longest carbon chain. That makes it propane. And I've got a methyl group on carbon number 2. This is 2-methylpropane. Let's look at this other example. We've got CH3, CH3. 3. And then we've got a carbon. And stuck to that carbon are 2 CH3s. We have 2 carbons, sorry, 2 CH3s, 2 methyl groups on this carbon. So I'm going to draw that carbon. I'm going to draw those 2 methyl groups. Here's my CH3 number 1 and my CH3 number 2. Again, here are 2 methyl groups, methyl group number 1, methyl group number 2 on this one carbon right here. Then we're going to wrap up with yet another CH3. What in the world are we going to call this guy? I've got 1, 2, 3 carbons on my longest carbon chain. I have 2 methyl groups on carbon number 2, so we're going to call this 2,2-dimethylpropane. Here we're going to substitute in some halogens. Now we've got some halogenoalkanes. We're going to do it the same way. We're going to start with our CH3. We've got, unsurprisingly, a CH3. We're going to draw a C and an H. Here's our C and our H, but now instead of another H, we've got a chlorine. We're going to wrap up this molecule with a CH3. And now we have 1, 2, 3. Once again, it's propane, but I've got 2 chloropropane. Let's do this guy, kind of fun. So I've got CH3 3 times. You might be tempted to go, well, that means that I'm going to do CH3 1, 2, 3 times. And then a C. Does that even make sense? Of course it doesn't, because we cannot have 3 carbons on a carbon that's in the middle, because now this guy's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonds. That's too many bonds. So what we're going to do instead is think about the fact that this 3 is telling us that we've got 3 methyl groups stuck to this one carbon. So even though I've been saying start all the way to the left, here I'm going to pause a moment and think about the fact that this C has 3 methyl groups stuck to it. So I'm actually going to start with this one C, that one C. Stuck to that guy are 1, 2, 3 methyl groups. That's an H. Good. And then, of course, stuck to the C, we also have a chlorine. It might be tempting, looking at the condensed formula, to call this guy 1,1,1-trimethyl chloromethane, but that doesn't make any sense, right? Because, of course, we always want to find our longest carbon chain. 1, 2, 3 is our longest carbon chain. So what am I going to call this guy? Well, we've got a methyl group on carbon number 2. We've got a chlorine on carbon number 2. Remember that chlorine starts with a C and methyl starts with an M, and we're always going to go alphabetical. So here we have 2 chloro, 2 methyl, 1, 2, 3 propane. 2 chloro, 2 methyl propane. Good. Good. Getting rid of those halogens, going back to just some hydrocarbons, let's look at CH. Oh, this is weird because usually we start with CH3. So now we've got CH2, CH, CH3. Interesting. Why is this interesting? Well, friends, we've got 2 carbons that are missing some bonds. Remember that the octet rule says that atoms need 8 electrons, shared or otherwise, in order to be stable. Carbon has a valence of 4. It's got 4 valence electrons. It needs to make 4 bonds to get to that octet rule. This guy's only got 1, 2, 3. This guy's only got 1, 2, 3. How do we fix that? Well, there must be a double bond in here. So now we have stable octet rules fulfilled. This carbon's got 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. This carbon's got 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. And we have not propane, but propene. This one is propene. Similar, let's look at this guy, I've got CH. Oh, not a CH3, but just a CH. And then a C, and then a CH2, and then a CH3. Okie dokie, let's check our octet rule. This guy and this guy are missing some bonds. Let's make it a double. Hey, we're still missing some bonds. This carbon now has 1, 2, 3. This carbon's got 1, 2, 3. That's not enough. Let's make it a triple bond. Now, both of those carbons are fulfilled. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. What are we going to call this guy? 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. This is 1-butyne or but-1-ine with a Y because a triple bond. But-1-ine. Next couple slides, we're looking at some oxygens that we have added to our carbons and hydrogens. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with our CH3, no surprises here, kind of going back to normal. I've got 3 CH2s. We're going to go 1, CH2, 2, CH2s, 3, CH2s. Make that look a little bit better like an H. Put those bonds in places. And then we're going to wrap up with an OH. Do I need to put some double bonds in here? Of course not, because oxygen has 6 valence electrons. It only needs to make 2 bonds. There's 1, there's 2. What is this molecule? This, of course, is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's but. This is butan-1-all. Butan-1-all. What about this guy? I'm going to start with our CH3. No worries about our double bonds here. And then I've got a C and an H and a CH3 in parentheses. This means that I've got a methyl group stuck to this one carbon. That methyl group is stuck to this one carbon. And then we're going to wrap up with, ooh, COOH. Let's think about this. I've got a carbon with only 2 bonds. This is problematic. Everybody else looks good. This guy, not so much. Can I make a double bond here? I can. But now this oxygen has 1, 2, 3 bonds. That's not going to work. COOH is our carboxyl group. So what we're going to do is make this a carboxyl group. Double bonded O that's not attached to the other O, and then an O and an H. What in the world am I going to call this molecule? 1, 2, 3 methprop. I've got 2-methyl propanoic acid. 2-methyl propanoic acid. COOH, that's a carboxyl group. And 3 more examples, more guys with oxygen, but notice that I don't have a hydroxyl group here. I don't have an OH. Neither do I have a carboxyl group. I don't have COOH. What other functional groups do we have that have oxygens? Well, we've got our esters. We've got ethers that we also call our alkoxys. And we have our carbonyl groups. So let's try to figure out what in the world we have going on here. So this one first, we're going to start with our CH3. We're going to draw our CH2. I'm going to go ahead and throw my oxygen in here, and then I'm going to do my CH3, and then add in all the bonds between the carbons and those hydrogens. We're good. This one worked out quite nicely, quite easily. My oxygen has 2 bonds. All my carbons have 4 bonds. If I have carbon, single bonded oxygen, single bonded carbon, this of course is going to be our ether or our alkoxy group. What are we going to call it? We're going to start with our shorter chain. This is going to be meth. Our oxygen is oxy, and then I've got 2 carbons over here. So this is ethane. This is methoxyethane. It's an ether or an alkoxy. Let's look at this one guy. So same idea. I'm going to start on the left. We're going to do CH3, CH2, throw some bonds in there. I've got a C and an O, and then my CH3, CH3. All right, let's check to see if this one is also an ether. Nope, because why not? Look at this C, it's only got 2 bonds. This oxygen's good, but this carbon is not. So we're going to stop and think about how else could I rearrange these atoms so that this carbon has a full octet. Can I double bond and double bond? Absolutely not, because now this carbon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonds, and oxygen has 1, 2, 3. That's not going to fly here in organic chemistry. So what we're going to do instead is make this a carbonyl. So here we've got that C, and I'm going to make it a double bonded O and then back to our CH3. So here's CH3, CH3. Here's CH2, here's CH2. Here's that CO, and then we're going to wrap up with CH3, CH3. It's a little bit of guess and check. Sometimes you're going to start with an ether and then be like, well, nope. This one, in fact, is a carbonyl. So we've got a carbonyl group here. What are we going to call this lovely molecule? We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. That's going to make this a but something. I have on carbon number 2 this double bonded oxygen. Because double bonded oxygen carbonyl group is not on a terminal carbon, this one is a ketone. Of course, if it were on a terminal carbon, it would be an aldehyde, but this is a ketone. So we're going to call this guy butan-2-one. Butan-2-one. One last example. We're going to start with a CH3. That means I'm not too worried here about a double bond, at least on this one carbon. CH2 seems normal. CH3. Whoa, what just happened here? Definitely no bueno for the same reasons that our original sketch of this guy didn't work out. So I've got a carbon with only 2 bonds. That is not going to work. Can I double bond? Double bond, of course not. Same reasons. This carbon now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonds. That's too many bonds. So what are we going to do? Well, think about COO as kind of like our carboxyl group, right? So if instead of COO, CH3, if I just had an H here, I'd be like, it's a carboxyl group. And we can kind of think of this guy as a carboxyl group, but then I stole the H off of the OH and I tossed something else on it instead. So I'm going to draw this like it was. That looked like a single bond, not a double bond. So COOH would be our carboxyl group, but I don't have an H, instead I have a CH3. So I'm going to go ahead and take off that H, and we're going to put that H3 in here instead. We don't often draw the molecule like this. We usually put that double bonded oxygen a little bit more vertical. So what do we have here with our double bonded oxygen to a single bonded oxygen, finishing off with some carbons? This, of course, is going to be our ester. What are we going to call this guy? We're going to start with the stuff that maybe once upon a time could have been the H in a carboxyl group. This is going to be methyl. And then I'm going to look at the rest of my molecule. I've got 1, 2, 3 carbons. That's not the best way to number them. Let's always start with our carboxyl carbon. 1, 2, 3. That's better. 1, 2, 3 carbons. Methprop. So we're going to call this methyl propanoate because it is an ester. Are we feeling a little bit better about going from our condensed formulae to our condensed formulae? Hopefully, yes. Because, my friends, this is the end of this video lecture. Let me know if you have more questions. Let me know if you want me to do more examples, and keep up all that great work.